TA Benin.
Mr. Albert Congo.
Good evening, everyone. Please kindly take your seats. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the much anticipated Independent Television and Radio Edo State Governorship debate. This event is an opportunity for candidates of the various political parties that are here to tell Edo people what they have in stock if they have the opportunity to lead Edo State and take over at Denis Osadebe Army. I want to say special thanks to all our media partners, talking about NTA Benin, Vibes FM, Edo Broadcasting Service, Speed FM, Silverbird TV, Rhythm FM, Air Live, and of course, a Hizwa Hub Event Center. We also want to appreciate our sponsors, Unilodge Realtors, EZ Africa Properties, Glorious Vision University, Shaka Polytechnic. And just to let you know that we have in our midst the Managing Director of Independent Television and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki. Welcome. We also have in our midst the Executive Director, Finance and Operations, Finance and Administration, ITV Radio, Lady Celerina Ojomo. We also have in our midst the General Manager, Independent Radio, Pastor Dan Omozosi, and not forgetting the General Manager, Commercial Services, Mrs. Odun Balogun. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun, one of your hosts tonight, and I have with me a delectable, beautiful lady, Daisy Leo Asigidi. Daisy, good to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening, Sonny.
So what are you looking forward to tonight?
Oh, it's a great one. The debate is about the future of Edo State and the leadership that will shape it. So, tabled. So I'm looking forward to hearing how apt the thinkings of these candidates are.
Fantastic, fantastic. And without wasting time, we'll be ushering the candidates for tonight's event upstage. Without wasting time, I'd like to invite upstage the AAC Governorship candidate for Edo State, Oberaifu Udo. Please come upstage.
And of course, we want to invite the ADC Governorship candidate for Edo State, Derek Osai Izedme. Please come upstage.
We also like to invite upstage the APC Governorship candidate for Edo State, Senator Umante Okwewolo is here.
And the governorship candidate for APGAR, the person of Dr. Azaya Osifo. Please, we'd like to welcome you upstage as well.
We'd like to also invite upstage the Labour Party Governorship candidate for Edo State, Barrister Olumide Akbata, if he's here.
And the governorship candidate for the NNPP, the person of Dr. Azeme Azene. Please, we want to welcome you upstage.
We'd like to welcome upstage the PDP Governorship candidate for Edo State, Dr. Aswa Ikudalo is here.
And the PRP governorship candidate, Patience Indidiki. Please, we welcome you upstage if you're here.
We'd like to welcome upstage, the last but not the least, the YPP governorship candidate, Paul Okunbowa. Thank you very much. I'd like to quickly establish the fact that you need to handle the microphone closely to your mouth and project more so we can hear you loud and clear, and your followers, your party members, and Edo people in general can hear you very, very well. And to do that, you will need to put on the microphone where you need to speak, and when you are done talking, put it off to avoid interference. Ladies and gentlemen, we're set for today's business. I want to say big welcome to all the candidates that are here. We'll go right now into this debate. Let's begin by hearing from all of you the focus and direction of your administration. But we need you to give us a background about yourself, your work experience, where you've worked before, what you've done before, and how you intend to leverage on that to impact Edo State in line with the focus of your administration if elected. So let's begin with the AAC governorship candidate, Oberaifo Udo.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Our listeners back home, viewers back home. My name is Oberaifo Udo, Isan by tribe. I am from Emwa, in Isan Southeast local government of Edo State. By God's grace, I am an entrepreneur, a business management consultant, a tech innovation specialist, real estate investor, and also MSME groups enabler. My journey as an entrepreneur has prepared me to understand the intricate dynamics of corporate governance as well as the problems that our people face. I am the group managing director of Vines Realty, a real estate company in Nigeria and also in the United States of America. I am also the chief consultant of Oberaifo Udo Consults, a business consultancy firm in Lagos State of Nigeria. I am also one of the consultants at Vines Advisory and Consultancy Services and the group head of Travely Nigeria Limited with over 20 years of experience in business management and entrepreneurship. I stand here today presenting myself as the governorship candidate or as the next leader to solve the problem of our people, the people of Edo State. With the vast knowledge and experience which we have garnered over the years, we did a whole lot of survey between the years of 2016 to 2019 with over 500,000 data collected across Edo State, and that led us to come up with a solution which today we are happy and we call a document, the Humanity First document. This document formed the manifesto of our campaign and have championed the cause, preferring solutions to the global diverse human problems that our Edo people face. And it would be a great pleasure to share this with the people of Edo State, hoping that after today or after this session, they will see and know those of us who have genuinely and are ready and prepared to solve the problems of our people and put Edo State on the path of progress and prosperity. My intention to run for Edo State governorship election came from having studied the situation of the country and our state in particular, and see that Edo State or the government house have become a place where
Okay, as if you knew your time was up. So we'll move over to Derek Osayan, the ADC governorship candidate.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to be here. Thanks especially to ITV for putting this event together. My name is Osayan Derek Izedome, citizen of Edo State, proud son of teachers, one who's passionate about transforming our state. Now, Nigeria today is faced with grave economic imbalance that is driven by structural trade deficit, which is also rooted in what I call the imported problems that we see. So imported foods, imported petroleum products, and imported manufactured goods. Now, what that has done is it's driven us into a cycle of inflation, subsidies, and more interest rates. Now, the recent actions of the federal government in Abuja has further driven us into more poverty. Now, coming back to Edo State, why I started with the federal side. Edo State is not bereft of good ideas. It is of resources, rather. It is bereft of good ideas and transformational leadership. And in this race, what I bring to the table is transformational leadership, because I've spent time to prepare for this. Now, if you want to know about my background, I went to nursery school, primary school, and secondary school, Edo College, and university in Benin City. I attended the University of Benin, where I studied petroleum engineering. And afterwards, I moved to Lagos, worked for some years, and then I went abroad. And in my sojourn abroad, I moved through the ranks all the way to senior management, general management experience. I was transferred to Lagos to support the management team, and I left as the managing director of that business. I've also been the immediate past president, like chairman of the Petroleum Contractors Trade Section of Nigeria. So that's my background. In between all this training, in between all this experience, I had training in several business schools and management training I can bring on board to transform our state, in terms of how you mobilize man and to bring production and productivity into our system. So that's me in a nutshell, and I'm here just to add to the narrative that we have brilliant minds that are prepared to do this job, and if the great people of Edo State give me the opportunity, I will tell them and show them what we can do and how.
Governorship candidates.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isaiah Osifo from Owenisi in the local government. Manolono, University of Benin, Benin City, University of Hull, United Kingdom. I hold PhD in international relations. I'm a university teacher and a farmer. The article, general of the student, University of Nigeria, Suka in 8. Secretary General Youth Solidarity for South Africa, Nigeria, a pro-democracy group. I was committed to the disbanding of apartheid in South Africa. Post and telecommunication PN. Two-time chairman of pioneer chairman of chapter of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, AGON, and national vice president of ABGON. Former chief of staff of the state under Professor Osumbo. I'm a pro-democracy activist. I believe that democracy is possible in Edo State. I believe that to have answers between your area, international relations, development, and to have economic development, government that is interested in development must establish the pillars of democracy. What are the pillars of democracy? The rule of law, accountability and due process, the judiciary, independence of the parliament, the House of Assembly, the autonomy of the local government, professional and well-motivated civil service. When these pillars are well established, you cannot anchor in indices that can really define real development of the people. I know that it is possible that Nigeria can be as developed as America or Britain, as a student in United Kingdom. And I'm saying that the country, every person in the world, but unfortunately, his leadership is our problem. I'm here to offer Edo State that positive and good leadership that's comparable to any part of the world. Because I've visited part of the world, student as a researcher, and also as a public policy consultant. I'm given the opportunity to transform in agriculture, in road development. It's more and well motivated. Technology, construction, women development, education, health. So the key to development is good leadership. And good leadership can only be known by antecedents and records. Looking at my records and antecedents, I've been committed to prosperity, to development, and to due process in public service. And as a teacher in university, teaching undergraduate and postgraduate students, I went deep in research in public policy, knowing that leadership is the problem of Africa. And we have the right leadership. I don't think can be as developed as any state in New York or in any part of the world. I am here for good leadership. Thank you.
Now we switch over to the NNPP governorship candidate, Dr. Azeme Azena. It's over to you, and your time starts now.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Azeme Azena, the real homeboy, aka the very true son of the Oracle. I've been a pastor for the past 18 years. I'm from Edo North. Precisely, I'm from Okpekpe, Itsako East Local Government. In my past 45 years, by God's grace, I am able to test the 4 powers that rule the world. The economic power, which is one of the powers that rule the world. I am able to create jobs for persons, not less than 300 persons are in my payroll as we talk today. I don't believe in theories, I believe in practical. I've also talked, one of the powers that rule the world is spiritual power. In the past 18 years, I've been a pastor who have over 136 branches under him in Edo State and overseeing 29 nations in the world. I also believe in intellectual power, which is the third power that controls the world. And that is why I'm able to establish schools, both primary and secondary school, all in the 3 senatorial zones in Edo State, not in Lagos, not in America, but here for our people. I also believe so much in political power, which is my 4th phase now. And in my little time politically, I'm able to affect my people coming out to be a governorship aspirant. I succeeded becoming a candidate at one stone, which is record breaking. What do you think that a man who has lived with people in the past 45 years since I was born, I have been a grassroots man, I have been a man who have taken out people from the street. I've gotten an award for security matters. I have gotten an award for economic matters. I've gotten an award for spiritual matters. I've gotten an award from the international. I've gotten an award both for local. So I am here to put together the experiences that I've gathered both spiritually, economically, intellectually, and now politically in running Edo State. There are many problems in Edo State, but I think when there is we, there is a way. And that is why I'm talking to Edo people, wherever you are. Politicians are actually failed. Technocrats are failed. It is time to try spiritual men. Paraventure is a spiritual problem. We combine all together and deal with the power. So I am here to present myself as the grassroots man. Thank you very much.
Let's move over to the PR candidates. Just go ahead. Can we just help check if that mic is
Turned on.
yeah.
Thank you, ITV, for this great opportunity to have us here, the GM, the moderators, my fellow brothers and sisters, and my fellow candidates. My name is Patience Ndidi Ofuri Key. I'm from Ekeke in the Guebe local government of our great state. I was born in this great city, Benin City. My primary school, I went to Exotic Primary School. I attended St. Mara Goreti. I graduated from Ambrosali University from Geography and Regional Planning. I have a bachelor's in nursing from Coppin State University, United States. I have an MBA, Master of Business Administration from University of Maryland Global Campus, United States. I have a series of certificates, leadership certificate, entrepreneur. I'm an Agile Scrum Master. I have served on several other certifications from Ivy League universities in the United States. I have served in the topmost position in the diaspora as a chairman of Nigerians in diaspora for the United States. That administration, that position gave me the opportunity to work with the Nigerian government and also closely to the United States government. Due to my humanitarian services, I have earned awards from the United States President, Joe Biden, Life Achievement Award from Joe Biden. I have been awarded Who is Who in the diaspora and the diplomatic missions also, and so many other awards due to my humanitarian and philanthropic position. Currently, I am the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Chamber of Commerce, an institution that was born during my position as Nigerians in Diaspora Organization chairman. And that organization is meant to bridge the gap between the emerging economy and the developed economy. Why am I here? I am here because I see retrogression in our land. I see regression in the land. With my introduction, I was born here, I know my area. I see hunger and anger imprinted on the faces of our people. And that is why the best thing I want to do is touch life, invest in human beings. As a healthcare professional, as a humanitarian, the best part of our manifesto, of our agenda, is to invest in people, human capital development. This will give them access to education, access to healthcare, access to entrepreneurial skills, character skills, communication skills, security skills, all the things that can help to build human beings. Human beings are the best investment we can give. And when we create the enabling environment in agriculture, technology, tourism for human beings, our states cannot but go forward and march ahead and become a global community, because we are big in a lot of things in our states. And as we continue the discussion, a lot to be exposed to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move over to the YPP Edo State Governorship candidate, Paul Okumbowa. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. Well, most sincerely, I'd like to thank the management of ITV for the opportunity to be here. At least we're not being censored once more from airing our voice. I've always said I'm an ordinary man. I don't have so much to my portfolio, but what I carry is natural and organic, and that is the ideas that can solve problems. But by God's grace, in my lifetime, I've been the convener of the Capital Intelligence Nigeria, an idea-based organization saddled with the responsibility of fine-tuning ways to solve problems and create wealth with problems solved. I am the Chief Executive Officer of EcoQuest Creation. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Simba Technology and Incubation Center. I am the lead facilitator of the popular Testers tutorials, aka Gorilla Brains. I am the proprietor of Cavalry Crown Academy. I am the convener of Opium Restaurant and Lounge. I'm a baker with a bakery. I am a car wash owner and a laundry owner. And at 39, before I turn 40 this year, I already have more than 500 persons who earn salaries from my ventures, who pay taxes to Edo State government, and are all resident in Edo State. I believe that the issues that has confronted us as a people is not spiritual, it is man-made. And I also believe so much in my heart of heart that when the right thinkers occupy the right offices, you will find staggering results. And I believe so strong in my heart that we can cause a rebound in the productivity and creativity belt of our young people. I believe so strong in my heart that we can provide welfare for our elders. I believe so strong in my heart that we can create a robust economic engagement here in Edo State. I believe so strong in my heart that leveraging on technology, we can revamp our security architectural problems. I believe so strong in my heart that people are hungry and they need redemption from the political class and the wealthy elite who see the ordinary people as a means to continually enrich themselves. I believe that sincerity enraptures.
Thank you very much, everyone. We will take a short break. When we return, I will hear from you, your experiences, your academic background, and all of that. It will set us on the trajectory of going into the nitty-gritty of this debate. Let me just use the opportunity to recognize the General Manager of Peace, General Manager of Vibes FM, Peace Ifido. Thank you for this partnership. We'll go for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on the Edo State governorship debate, courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
Transformation don't come home. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make Edo better. ADC not the party oh. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make Edo better. Sign and the man oh. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make it.
Like Brigadier Ogbemudia and Professor Ali of old, who had passion and zeal to rebuild Edo State, comes a young man in that same mode, but with youthful vigor and transformative ideas to rebuild Edo State, transformed in agriculture, education, industrialization, economic empowerment. With Engineer Osayan Derek Izedonwe as governor and Philippine Monichi Osagi as deputy governor, African Democratic Congress Edo State can be a state that works for all.
Derek Osayan and the man oh. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make Edo better.
Vote Engineer Osayan Derek Izedonwe as governor. Vote ADC, the party with the handshake sign.
I am Osayan.
My name is Mr. Peter Obi. My very good dear people of Edo State, I appeal to you to vote the Labour Party candidate, Olumide Apata. We need a change. I have traveled around Edo State. I've seen the need for great work in areas of infrastructure. This is not time to sell your vote. This is not time to put the future of your children at risk. Even when they give you the money, you can collect it because it's your money. But I appeal to you to vote for a candidate that will serve the people of Edo State. Vote the Labour Party candidate, Olumide Apata.
Labour Party, forward ever.
To everyone watching from all over the world, and we're going to move on now to a very critical part of this debate, and I want to put a question to all of these candidates on education. It's very key, and I'll be starting with the YPP candidate, Paul Okumbora, and then it goes down to the AAC candidate. Education is very key, it's very important, and we want to know how you intend to improve the state's education system. As of today, are you aware of the number of out-of-school children in Edo State? Are you aware of the student-to-teacher ratio in public schools as of today? Do you know the need assessments of the Edo teacher? Do you have solutions to all of these problems? And so it just goes down. So I'll start with you, Mr. Paul Okumbora.
Thank you very much. It will interest you to know that aside being a car wash owner, I'm foremost an educator. I've been in the business of educating our people for the past 22 years. So literally speaking, we are the proverbial educators that will tell you when push comes to shove. So naturally, when young persons are done in their respective secondary schools or private schools, government schools, whatever the case, they end up with us before they get into the university. And this has given us the opportunity to X-ray. What I do know is that the mode of conveyance of knowledge transmission in our educational system is obsolete. I have proposed to have a more recent digitalized approach, a consumable approach to knowledge. I have proposed that every curriculum from basic school down to senior secondary school can be animated and can be given the audio-visual lift. And then when they are in animated form, it can be sequenced. When it is sequenced topically, I propose that when you are expected to create a mental picture of an inorganic subject, such as physics, for example, you put a question before you say, a train moves 5 kilometers towards east, calculate the retardation after 5 seconds. You are expected to create a mental picture of a train. Now, in my own submission, if I put the entire theory in our curriculum into an audio-visual format, it will aid the process of consummation of that knowledge a way more deeper. because you seldomly don't forget the music you've learned or the movies you watched many years back. But the moment you are asked what you consumed in print just a few hours ago, then you have a memory recall problem. I have seen a situation where teachers who are of quality nature, those who could say by calling teachers, are not teaching in our educational system, both private and public system, because of unemployment or because of viability in the educational space. The remunerations within that community is not in tandem with the economic reality. So people who are naturally savvy, those who have the capacity to impact, have taken up better paying jobs. I believe that the educational system of this state needs a complete overhauling. I believe examination malpractice is still the biggest cancer to the process of knowledge transmission and knowledge gain, because our people, our young people, are so laced with that lazy approach that someone is going to help them. And I have not seen any pragmatic step by any government in the past 16 years to deliberately go after examination malpractice. I believe in retraining and training those who are in the business of impacting young persons. I believe in selecting. There are people in my schools, for example, who said it's their natural calling to be a teacher. And when you find such persons, I believe in creating wealth within the teaching space to give further remunerations. And that's why we are proposing ways to create wealth, leveraging on education.
Okay, Ms. Patience in DDK, please, over to you.
Yeah, education is a bedrock of our society. Enlightenment is very key for our people. I see in our society, of course, our education is in shambles. Things are not working the way. The classrooms are not what is supposed to be. The infrastructures are dilapidated. Even our instructors, our teachers are not well paid. I usually say something. One thing is to have a job. Another one is to be gainfully employed. You can have a job, but your job does not do nothing. It does nothing for you. In our schools, I want to see a school that is digitalized. You see, everyday human being, we all use phones. We use Android phones, we use iPhones, and we're able to operate them. So when we put digitalization, when we digitalize, our schools, definitely it will be a win-win situation for the people. I also want to see a situation where our disabled people, because I don't know, in our community, we don't see disabled people as, normal. They are normal. They are human beings like you and I. So they need to go to school. We need to, put that infrastructures, what can help them to also develop their lives. I want to see a situation where our instructors have professional development programs quarterly for them to be able to match, what we see in the 21st century. I also want a situation where infrastructure, the curriculum will be revamped so that entrepreneur will be added in our curriculum. Digital technology will be added in our, even civic society, civil rights, civic rules should be added so that people will begin to know their rights. I know some government came, during the democratic whatever and removed history. We need to come back. History is very, very important in everything we do. So people need to know who they are, where they are coming from, because that will be able to help us to forge ahead. So I want the situation where an educational system that speaks for Edo State, an educational system that speaks for the people. When people come out, around the world, they are able to face challenges. And education for me also is not just about going to the university. There are some people that even went to the university, but that's not what they live on. And there are some people that they don't want to go to higher institution. So entrepreneur, vocational studies, those skills that can help people to begin to be able to, help their life to move forward. Those are the kind of things I want to see in our educational system so that Edo State will move forward.
Thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Azebe Azena.
Thank you very much. If I may get your question right, you talk about the numbers of children that are out of schools, and we have to find out why they are out of schools, because they cannot afford it. Digitalizing education is not a problem, but the problem it is manualized in quotes, and people are out of school. So the first thing I think is a solution to children who are out of schools is to create free education so that we can all have access to school. That is why in our party, when you say NNPP, we say New Nigeria. When you say New Nigeria, we say education for all. So we create an environment when education can be accessible both for the poor and the rich. Number two, you talk about the numbers of teachers and all that. You discover that our teachers have not been retrained and retrained and retrained. You can change the curriculum of a school. What about the teacher that want to use it? So we have to retrain our teachers and retrain them until they will meet up with the 21st century standard. Thirdly, why are the children also out of school? Because of the hard economic nature that is biting their parents. So if you want to work on education, to stop children selling for the society, selling in the society during the school hours, you have to look into economy. How do you put food on their table when they are in school or when they are back from school? That is another principle we are going to look into. One of the things I'm going to take from this present administration, which I love so much, I'm not that type who criticize everything about person. Nobody can be totally bad. Nobody can be totally good. It's Edo best. I am going to make sure what they have started, when I become the governor, I will implement it and I will improve on it. So, free education, and for the tertiary institution, because education is like Abu Salim, other polytechnic owned by the state, we are going to reduce the school fees. Because presently now, doctors, to read medicine in Abu Salim University, you need to pay up to 700 to 800. To read law, it's to about 600 school fees. That means in the next few years, a poor man will not be a lawyer again. A poor man will not be a medical doctor again. So I will do everything possible that the school fees are reduced so that poor man can still become a medical doctor, can still become a lawyer in our future. Because education is not meant for the rich. A child that is not trained today may be the one that will destroy yours that was trained yesterday. So I believe that all children should have access to education.
Thank you. Dr. Azayo Sifo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Education. And I am going to school, and I've taught in university. It is important for us to know that for you to have effective education, efficient and effective education in the state, government must first and foremost be accountable in terms of revenues that are generated. A corrupt government cannot give a good education because you need to save resources, because it is a social responsibility that first we have to do some savings to the also invest in our education is already free in Edo State. So we're not talking about free education here. We're talking about so if you not raise the disparity of average my interest of the main assessment. Now, what should you do that I don't know? I believe that in development administration, development of the law is a realistic thing. That is to say, before you digitalize or you expose the children to computer education or AI, the basic infrastructure of primary education must be there. They have no furniture to sit. They have no good environment to learn. There are no instructional materials for students to learn. And you must have established a foundation that will create an enabling environment for these children to learn. And the teachers must be encouraged to be creative. Edo best, I disagree. because it is not the best for us today. What you do is to give laptop to teachers and to read the rosary and dictate to students without the creativity of teachers. Teachers must be trained so that they can write their lesson notes, so they can instruct children to reading culture. Our children in Ethiopia are not reading. They have no textbooks in the primary school and secondary school. That is not a good culture. Children must read literature. They must be exposed to laboratories, teachings and sciences. So we have to go back to basic education, whereby teachers are creative. They write their lesson notes. They read. Teachers have to read. If professors, I teach. If you don't read, you can't teach your students. Your teachers must read. This dictation you give to them on laptop, and they go to the classroom and begin to write on the blackboard, not even a man. It's wrong. So what Edo best is completely out of it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isaiah. We now move over to Dr. Derek. Derek Hussain.
Thank you. Hello? Yes, that's a good question. I think when it comes to the subject of education, for us it is very fundamental in terms of preparing our kids for the future. What we have today is somewhat colonialist educational system. Our view is that needs to be rejigged hook, line, and sinker. We want to change the narrative in terms of the educational curriculum. What do I mean by that? If you look around our competitors, we are not competing with Lagos State. We're competing with India, China, and the Asiatics. What we need to do is look at the pedagogy of our educational system. By that I mean the practice, learning, and teaching that's currently put forward. We are not training people for the industry or to be future ready to work as entrepreneurs. We are training them to be white-collar workers. So for us, we want to restructure our educational system in such a way that right from primary school, kids are going to be taught how to engage with big machines, how to produce shoes, how to have a handwork. So we're going to invest heavily on a parallel vocational educational system on the one hand that would enable the kid, by the time he's at SS3, he can make a shoe, he can sew a shirt, he can do stuff for himself, he can earn a living, doesn't necessarily need to go to university. So we need to start with that. Also, in terms of the teaching staff, we need to invest more. I agree with most of my speakers here. We need to invest more on the teachers that actually teach these kids. Because if you look at the budget these days, there's not much investment in training the teachers. So we need to raise the game on that front so that teachers are well remunerated, they are happy and motivated to deliver the type of curriculum that we put forward. So for us, it is not just to train kids to go all the way to university, it's to prepare them, working especially, and this is important, working with the private sector, the industry. So we have to put a hand in the industry and put a hand in the school. So by the time the kids are coming out of school, they will be a good fit for the industry. I know that because I work in the oil and gas industry, and when we take on graduates initially, they are more or less a misfit for what we need them for. So we have to set up graduate training programs to prepare them for delivery of the kind of services we want. So we're going to work closely with the manufacturing industries, the other industries in the state, to make sure that the kind of services they need, the kind of people they need in their offices are the people that the system produces. So that's why I will stop. I don't want to bandy words about the statistics. We know that there are a lot of kids out of school. That also is an economic problem. We need to look at why the families are not, they don't have a big pocket, and they are bringing in kids to do commercialization of kids, as I would say.
Thank you, very Kosai. We now move over to, you can give the mic to Udo Obirifo.
Okay. It's very important that we know that education is the right of everyone. And like what my brother just said, I just want to correct that we are building the next generation that will be useful not just to themselves, but to the society, to Edo State at large. Therefore, we must understand that entrepreneurship is a key part of that. We are going to be introducing the knowledge economy into the Edo education system and also skill development. If we go to, because we are competing with countries like China, like the UK, like Germany and US and all of them. It is important that we catch our kids young. Therefore, we must change the kind of education system or the colonial kind of education system that we inherited that we still use by introducing the skill economy, the skill development, and knowledge economy into our education system. Then we talk about common university. It is an idea we came about which we want to introduce into our education system. It's very important that we know that our children of today, unfortunately, most of our young ones, they don't understand our local languages. We must introduce the speaking of Bini, the speaking of Esako languages into our school and teach them in our local languages. Children in China, they learn how to make cars and they understand it better because they teach them in China. They teach those in France, French. So also are the Germans. Why can't we do that in Edo State? It also helps us to understand our people more, to understand our culture, because a part of us that is lost as of today, which we need to empower our people, is our culture and our tradition. And that takes me back to the importance of us teaching our true history, teaching of our culture and our tradition to our schools, not the whiteboard version of our history, but the true version of our history. The Edo man, the Benin man, need to understand that I am a Benin man. What is the ideology of the Benin person? What is my history? Who am I as a Benin man? What makes me better than the next person? By so doing, by empowering them. Then that takes me to the issue of our students. Our students introduce bursary into the schools to ensure every student in the tertiary institutions, they get a token every semester when they go to school to support them. And our kids, like we said before, also in our manifesto, we intend to introduce primary and secondary school free education, then in the university or tertiary level, to reduce drastically the fees for our secondary school students. We must talk about strengthening the academic unions of our universities. It is unfortunate that today, even the government or our government now interfere in the activities of the tertiary institutions. The autonomy of tertiary institutions is very, very important. And teachers' welfare and training as well. We must look into that and ensure we encourage our teachers. We pay a living wage for them to be able to.
Thank you so much for your answers. We're going to go on a quick break and we'll return shortly to the debate.
PDP APC. Now wetin Edo people do now? For 25 years. Now so suffer.
This 7 years before, I dey share down 100, 200. Now it's 1,000 naira. The dear fuller, I go buy am 10,000 naira. Now, the one when I buy last week, I buy am 65. Last 2 weeks, 2 children come. They carry back load. Mango when no good, when me throw away for dustbin. Those children load that for bag, they eat anyhow. Tears come out for my face. I call those children, I give them 1,000 naira. Make them go eat. What's life? At the life when we dey now. If you put soup for fire, when you not sit down near your kitchen, before you dey come, they don't remove your pot of soup.
What is food for fire?
God who made me. What did they cost and I'm hungry? We market woman, our enemy is dying.
And yet soon I won't come back. Whose side? We want change.
Vote Olumide Osaitofu Akpata as governor of Edo State. Vote Labour Party.
Plenty people, una never tire for promise and failed government. Una no want good roads, electricity, better school for our children and make kidnapping end. Obey for Udo, a true son of a land, a youth, a transformational leader, a man of integrity. He come to help poor people so that became of a nobody will become somebody. And his slogan now, humanity first. It means say no big man, poor man. God for that reason, thief money, but say we must treat everybody like human being. Edo State go safe from kidnapping, killy, and our people go fit go farm, travel and do business. He go make good road and light go there wella. Obey rifle go give our pikin them free primary education and reduce school fees for our university. Make everybody fit pay. Industrialize Edo State and pay 150,000 minimum wage. My Edo people, no go dey near river, soap enter your eyes. Oh, vote for AAC. Vote Obey Rifle Udo for governor.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again we welcome our governorship candidates for Edo 2024. We also want to appreciate all our viewers and listeners across the world for creating time to be part of this historic occasion, the Edo State governorship debate. We'd like to appreciate all our media partners, NTA Benin, Vibes FM, Edo Broadcasting Service, Speed FM, Silverbird TV, and Rhythm FM. Live, as well as B-Side FM, not forgetting Hazelwood Hub Event Center. We also want to appreciate all our sponsors, Unilodge Realtors, EZ Properties, Glorious Vision University, Shaka Polytechnic. We thank all of you for being a part of this historic occasion. Just to let you know that we have our fact checkers on the ground from the West Africa Broadcast Media Academy, from our sister station, Delta Broadcasting Service, Warri. We have Ogene Karo, Fogo, and Yikimi Bao. And just before we go straight to our next round of questions, we'd like to fact check what has come forth so far from you. And so we'll hand over the microphone to Ogene Karo Fogo to give us insights into what has been said so far. Thank you very much, Ogene Karo Fogo. And now let's go to a very critical aspect of governance, which has to do with revenue generation. As lofty as the ideas that we all have to drive development in Edo State, you agree with me that if there's no money, you can't achieve anything. So for a start, we'd like to know from you, what is the current GDP of Edo State and the per capita income in Edo State, and how do you intend to improve that? What is the current revenue profile of Edo State and the debt profile of Edo State? How do you intend to balance that so you can have enough resources to drive development in Edo State? What is your model in diversifying the Edo State economy so you have adequate resources to add value to Edo State? And I'd like to start with the AAC candidate, Oberaifo Udo.
Okay, Edo State, as a state, we have about 7 revenue sources. We have the share of the excess crude account, we have share of the VAT, we have share of the statutory allocation. Then we also have other revenues from the FAC, and we also have capital development funds as well. And I think the IGRO, that is also part of it, then aids and grants. The GDP of Edo State is about 2.6 trillion. Yes, correct, about 2.6 trillion. And it is very important. It's actually the gross domestic product of the Edo State. It is actually very, very important that we understand that as at today, we have about our budget for the 2024 as released or approved by the state government is about 325 billion. And in that budget, we were able to fund, I think, about 303 billion, with the extra be taken as loans to cover up for it. However, there were some few nitty-gritties that I noticed on the budget. Our manifesto is humanity first. It basically talks about being people-centric. thinking about the people and coming up with policies that solve the problem of the people first before anything else. And when we put that at the back of our mind, it becomes a guiding principle in our approach, in the policies and the things we choose to do to solve the problem of our people. That takes me to the problem of our people and how the project can address it. The biggest problem our people is facing today is the problem of insecurity. Then we'll go to the problem of course, infrastructure, roads. Edo Central is one of the worst places when it comes to roads today. Then we go to power, and then we look at other areas. Industrialization, I'm saying it in the order of priority, or how we have come up with solutions or looked at the problems in the order of priority. But however, in the budget of Edo State, a part of it, I think the highest allocation went to the economy, which is about 301 billion. Education is a key part of development in Edo State. Took about 5.4 billion. As bad as our roads are in Edo Central, it's unfortunate that roads and bridges had about 130 billion. And in Edo, and I think water was about 77 million or so. You see, these are the issues. When we look at things critically and try to solve the problem, genuinely, we look at the problems our people face and put it at the front burner. When we continue to come up with policies, we'll be able to identify or solve the problem and actually allocate the right amount of monies to those areas that are necessary or that address the necessary needs of the people. I see no reason why. Okay, going to the other aspect of how we can generate funds. One of my biggest strengths as an MSME growth.
Thank you. Your time is up. And now to Derek, the ADC candidate.
Thank you. Our GDP within the space of 8 years. How do we intend to do that? What we intend to do is, on the IGRO side of things, we want to try and plug all the leakages because we believe there are clear leakages that we can plug. Aside plugging the leakages, we want to bring in technology to be able to make the processes more efficient and less leak prone. Technology, even as far as AI, to make sure that people don't get to interfere with our revenue generation process. We believe that can raise the IGRO quickly in 4 to 8 years to somewhere around 12 to 15 billion naira a month. In terms of the GDP generally, there are many levers we can twist to increase that. One of them is security. So we have to go head on, stamp on security with every resource that we have to do two things. One is to get people back to the land, to farm and produce, and also produce feedstock for the factories that we intend to bring, because we are heavy on industrialization. That's on the one hand. On the second hand, is to attract investors into Edo State, because without peace, investors will not come. And the more investors you have, of course, the more taxes and all that you get. But also, it's a bit counterintuitive. What we intend to do is to do some kind of tax relief and incentivization of business. So by tax relief, we say, okay, come into Edo State and do business. We'll give you a tax relief from 2 to 5 years, depending on the business you want to do until you stabilize your business. We believe that if you bring that critical mass of investors into Edo State, you begin to grow the pie. And when the pie is big enough, you have more to spend on services, education, roads, and all whatnot. So we, as a government, will put our hand directly into business. We don't believe in autarky. We believe in dirigism, which is government involvement, not laissez-faire. And that means we encourage, invest, and kind of debottleneck business challenges for businesses to come in. Put roads, put infrastructure, data highway, business parks, industrial parks for businesses to come, plug and play, and invest. If you do that, you see that the economy will grow quickly, and you have more to spend as a government. So that's what we intend to do in a nutshell. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Isaiah Osip.
Thank you. There are two main sources of revenue for Edo State government. The revenue from the federation account, internally generated revenue. And we have a robust internally generated revenue, the revenue that's going from the federation account. Now, the accountability that you give to the people will create that integration and symmetric relationship between the people and government, create an enabling environment that can lead to generating revenue. If we are given the opportunity to govern, we're not going to generate revenue from the vulnerable class tomato seller, the pure water seller, the wheelbarrow sellers. You don't do that in a developing democracy because these are vulnerable people that you do not take. Development administration such as the one we have in the state at our to begin to industrialization. Industrialization can be by way of the private entrepreneurs. For instance, in the area of agriculture, the state government, those states and agrarian society, you can generate a lot of billions of naira from taking one product alone like rice. Grow rice in those states, in Agene Bode, in Agbede, in Anegbete. And those states can generate billions of naira just for rice production alone. That will be enough for consumption and able to take outside the state. Now, Edo Pharmaceutical used to be here when Bowenda was president. From a pharmaceutical industry, the patent medicine dealers go as far as Onitsha to source for drugs. If you have a pharmaceutical industry, you're going to generate billions of naira. If you revive Bender Brewery, you're going to generate billions of naira. If you introduce public water supply, public water board, you are going to generate billions of naira. Edo State is an oil producing state. We have the highest reserve of gas in Africa at Ope. And people tell us that we cannot refine our refinery, we cannot convert our gas to domestic use. That is not true. With the right technology and innovation, you can generate of naira from our gas resources, our oil and gas resources. We are a historic. Of the of tourism. Now, if we harness the resources of tourism in Benin Kingdom and some parts of Edo North, we are going to create a lot of internal generated revenue. But the bottom line is that for you to generate this revenue, the government has to be honest, and that will not elicit confidence on part of the people and that are coming to invest in your economy. Now, when you have expanded microeconomy that has attraction by internal and external investors, the revenue will show up. And when the revenue shows up, you cannot begin to expand the further base of generating more revenue that will create employment and income for the citizens. GDP at cities can increase, can go up if we have a honest government that will look at the natural resources that are in our environment, upon which investment is robust, that can generate for different.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Asame Hassan.
Thank you very much. The 2023 GDP of Edo State is around, I think, 25.81, while the IGR is around 162.181 billion, and the federal allocation is around. Internal generating revenue is 62.81 thereabout, while allocation is 161.89. Now, with generating is good to be talked about, but most time when you are fetching water on a leaking basket, you cannot do anything with it. I believe so much that before we can start generating revenue, we have to stop all our leaky pockets. The first thing I discovered that we are still generating our revenue manually. If you go to the developed world, people don't give tickets by hand. People don't generate money manually. So yeah, we have money, but they are going to individual pockets. Number two, if you watch where Edo State is not producing anything, like a state-owned maybe factory. Those days we used to have Bede Cement Factory, Flour Mill, Bede Brewery. That is where our income were coming from. What stopped us, even though we can't revive the old one because some of them were privatized, some of them were sold. Why not go back to Edo Cement Factory, even though not the previous? Because we have the stone, we have what it takes to have a cement factory. Why not work on that and that become a source of revenue? Why not so talk about agriculture? The rice we consumed are coming from the north. What happened to Agbede rice? What happened to what is it called? Bode rice? What happened to Ekpoma rice? Ulushi rice? Where those ones are worked on, there is going to be a source of employment and a source of revenue. And now, you discover one of the things,
when he said he will not, for example, my co-candidate said the younger, the venerable one will not pay tax. No, there is a law for taxation, both poor, both the rich. But the problem we have in Nigeria is that the rich are left and they are pursuing the poor. If I may ask, most of the stations that are here now watching me, how many of them are paying tax? Because they are owned by bourgeois. So what are we going to do? We are going to make sure every rich man and their industry and factory and establishment pay their tax.
Thank you. Patience in the decay. It's over to you.
About the IGR, the figures that we have.
Could you just project a little bit more? Could you project a little bit more?
Okay, it's good to talk about the figures that we have, the IGR, whatever is coming in and all that. But when it's not seen in the economy, when the economic activity, the value is not added, then it becomes very, very shameful. So I would say for us to be able to generate wealth, we need to invest in the talents that we have, the human resources that we have. Because human beings are the best, resource that God has given to us. And also to use the natural resources that God has given us to be able to create this wealth. We have agriculture. We have tourism. We are big in tourism. Edo has to start manufacturing. Production is key. A state or any economy that keeps taking, that keeps, getting from others and do nothing about the wealth that is embedded in the state, then there's nowhere that we are going. So for my institution, we're going to invest in agriculture. We're going to invest in human beings. We're going to invest in tourism. We're going to invest in manufacturing and technology. Very, very important. Let's look at agriculture. We have rubber as, a resource in this state. A lot of byproduct can come out from rubber. Gloves, tubing, tires that we use, foot mats, in footwear, rubber plates, a lot of things. This will not only give us local revenue, it will not only add national revenue to us, but it will give us global revenue. I'm a healthcare practitioner. I also own my small business in healthcare. I've worked in one of the biggest hospitals in the world, Johns Hopkins. Everything that we use, from tubing to gloves to whatever, comes from rubber. So that's already an international business for Edo State. Look at timber and wood. Edo, we have the best of the best wood. We have soft and hard wood. Edo State has the best of the best wood. I want to create a furniture village in the state, where people can, do what they know how to do. We are good in woods. Look at the artifact that is being brought back to the state. Where is it coming from? Some from wood, from the things that our people are used to doing. Then tourism. I tell people that people come from all over the world just to come and watch White House. What if we bring them here to come and watch the Oba's Palace, enjoy our Igwe festival, and all that? This will give us trillion naira, generated, as opposed to just waiting billion naira to come from the central government or community votes. So all these things we can do for ourselves. Of course, security is very, very important. And what causes security? Insecurity in our state is poverty, hunger. That is why we're having security. When we create jobs, insecurity will cease.
Thank you. YPP candidate, over to you.
Thank you very much. One of the advantages you get when you listen to people who are scholarly with figures and statistics, that helps you with some measure of projection. You see, it's okay for us to list the revenues generated in the state, either through IGR or whatever the means. It's okay for us to have these beautiful statistics on the internet of the billions and the billions. But you see, when it's not reflecting in the lives of the people, I personally don't see it as economic robustness. Now, Nigeria is blessed with population, with over 220 million population. That in itself is commerce. That in itself is business. There is a reason why China deliberately refused WhatsApp and Facebook and leverage on their own WeChat. The idea is that we have a population. We can actually create wealth with this population. But you see, we have trade treaties that allow those who have economic robustness, who can take facilities in their countries, come into our country, and then they take their hands so deep into our population stream, and then whatever they produce and mass produce, they get serious economic robustness. I have often asked,
is it difficult for our state governors to deliberately go into direct public partnership investment? Because if you look at what we have in healthcare, for example, as we speak just now, the cost of Ventolin has gone up. Some companies that produce drugs have left the country, and we have health challenges, and we have population. What is Edo Pharmaceuticals currently doing? Is Edo Pharmaceutical currently challenging the current medicines or antibiotics that are expensive? Because if Edo was massively into production from Edo Pharmaceuticals just in Okoroye, and we leverage on Nigeria's population, and we take our produce and our drugs and other medically produced useful items in the medical space around the 36 states of Nigeria, you see wealth coming in. I have often asked, we have viable area space in our land. Why can't we produce and go into commercialization? Food processing. If you look at Ogun State is making a lot of profits from agriculture, leveraging the population of Lagos State. What happens if we can give robustness to agricultural space, and then when we can surface upon the insecurity that has greeted the rural environment, and we encourage productivity with our farmers and go into secondary production, you will see that Edo can be creating and making wealth directly from leveraging on Nigeria's population for the 36 states. I often say sometimes that if you go to United Kingdom, when I was in Manchester, I noticed that the store I bought African shop things from was owned by a Pakistani. And then these Pakistanis had employed other Pakistanis, and they were selling as far as the locally processed locust beans and even okra, plantain. And I said to myself, is it difficult to have an Edo market in London, in Manchester, in Canada, in the United States, in Texas? Because when you do, Nigerians in diaspora will prefer to want to take that hard currency back home. That will be mopping and creating revenue. See, there are serious ways that we can organically create wealth if we have.
Call like this, PDP go come, APC go come. Now different promise. Now would they hear? I dey beg, but I mean no say, in go feel runner for us.
Vote Labour Party for Edo State. Bam!
Transformation don't come on. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make Edo better. ADC na the party oh. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make Edo better. Go sign and the man oh. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make
Shabi una remember Brigadier Gwemudia and Professor Ali. Una remember them work for Edo State. Now so one young man wey name the engineer Science Derek is doing. When one change everything, food go dey nyafu nyafu. Schools go better pass as them be now. Work go dey, loan and money go dey for small businesses. Now so then too, one make them party African Democratic Congress take make Edo State to be #1. They won't make things better for everybody for Edo State. Make we agree for them.
ADC na the party oh. Everybody vote for the party we ready to make Edo better.
Vote to sign Derek Izedo as governor. Vote ADC, the party where they take handshake, they know.
I am Hosea Derek Izedo, and I approve this message.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still the governor candidates debates organized by Independent Television and Radio. We several media partners, and we say a big thank you to them. At this point, we want to ask the candidates. We want to know your plans, your victory. We want to know your plans on how you intend to be victorious in this election, considering the power of incumbency, money politics, and federal might. So how do you think your party will overcome these factors and still achieve victory? So I'll start with the YPP candidate.
My party and I are not prepared.
Sorry, hold on, before the time starts. Did we all get the question? Are we on the same page? Should I go back? Okay, you're just coming in. All right, I said, with the issues of power of incumbency, money politics, and federal might, how do you intend to ensure victory for your party in this coming election with all of these factors at play? Please go ahead.
Prior to this time, it was a two-stage between two prominent political parties. And in the last presidential election, we learned by default that one man's narration can change the course of our political landscape. And that, in no small measure, dealt a serious blow to the political actors and actresses as far as Edo State is concerned. It will be of the Labour Party emerged overwhelmingly in Edo State without liquidation without structure it, and they believe that this will work for them, they will go to the ballot box. You see, while the tigers and hyenas are busy fighting, the snail and the turtle will quietly scale through. When they are counting ballots in hopes that they must have been rigging themselves or destroying their own votes, our votes will be consolidating. The people's will be increasing. So while they are counting, unknowing to them, they intend to be counting what they have masterminded. Only they'll be hearing YPP, YPP, YPP. And before they know it, the snail has finally gotten to his final destination.
Thank you very much. Over to you now, ma'am.
That the people get informed by what they see and hear from the media. Very, very important. When so much power is given to incumbency and those in power and all that, so people tend to gravitate towards that. But if a level playing field is given to everyone that is running for any position, the fear will be there. I usually tell people that the power belongs to the people. The government should be at the mercy of the people, not the people at the mercy of the government. But because in the media, they hear us say, the power of incumbency, political party is the one in power, you might not be able to get it. But if they hear if we give opportunity for people on the street, people that don't have that money or whatever to come to the media to speak, to also let the people know that they are tired of the same people. Nigerians just came out August 1st to 10 to say they are hungry. A rich country like Nigeria, people are coming to say they are hungry. We're an agrarian community. Agriculture was our mainstay, so nobody should be hungry in this country. So it's because we promote these parties. It's because we promote these candidates. That is why people will think, okay, let's follow. But as we go to the streets, as we go to the communities, go to the senatorial zones, we hear the cry of the real Edo indigenes and the residents saying, this is where we want to go. We are tired. They are actually tired, And, when we stop projecting this kind of, even the institution like INEC will be afraid to rig. They will be afraid to get money and do things that they are not supposed to be doing. So the less promotion for these people. Of course, we know our media houses need to grow. We need money to function and all that. But there are different ways to get it. If we stop promoting these people, definitely their wings will not be able to fly. That's what I say.
I want us to go back to history that our respected president, Goodluck Jonathan, was an incumbent president and yet he was removed. We should also come back to Edo State, and that Soshomole removed the incumbent power that were in Edo State. And I believe that the God of yesterday, today, and forever as a religious man. And above all, when you talk about power, the incumbent power, the federal might, there is a power higher than federal might, and that is God Almighty. That is what I depend on. Who would have thought that David will bring down Goliath? These major two parties, I have their catapult and their stone in my pocket. I will bring them down. That is the first. And number two, power belongs to two persons. Naturally belongs to God, but he give it to men on earth. I'm a man of the people. Election is not about billboard. If you like, put 10 billboard in one junction. Election is local. We are not going to, like he said, we are not going to billboard, we don't have the resources. But we have the people with us. So I depend on the people and I depend on God Almighty. Like I said, that what it takes to bring down the mightier and the mighty down is just a catapult and a stone. And so long that catapult and a stone is in my pocket, which you will not know the mystery until 21st of September, which is next week Saturday. I'm about warming up to throw the catapult and the stone. And when it meets their Goliath, others will flee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. No clapping. Dr. Isaiah.
Thank you. Election and democracy is not only about day or about Abga, it's about the people of Edo State. Because I trust that the people of Edo State are enlightened and they have participant political culture, that they will do the right thing. If I don't believe in the people of Edo State's ability to do what is right, I will be in this contest. They have the choice to make. between those that will exclude the good ones, the brilliant ones from even party primaries. Professor Bruce Ali was a governor in Bender State. He was a lecturer in West of Benin. Today, your political parties ask for 50 million naira nomination fee, excluding all the good person. So it's for those people to choose between those that will exclude the good ones, for those good ones that are participating in the contest. A party that will put 50, 40 million nomination fee is not afraid of the people. It is for people to choose those who will allow local government people to elect their councillor and chairman, between those that will not allow them, so they know the real enemies of the people, the real enemies of democracy. So the people of Edo State should step out there to make a choice between those who have impacted on the lives of the people in their community, in their local government, versus those who are coming from Lagos that have never voted, that don't pay tax, they don't live here, and want to be a colonial master on the people of Edo State. So it is for the Edo people to know that the power of choice, the power of democracy, the power of the next governor rests on them, not on the money bags, on incumbency. The arrogance of incumbency, as you see now, they are not even around for the debate because they believe they are going to share 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. It's for the people of Edo State to prove that they are enlightened, they have the competence, and they have the moral persuasion to go out there to let a governor who has impacted on the community, who has paid bursary, who has established farm, who has established the youth by taking them to Norway, who has related with the civil servants to have an impartial professional civil servant, who believe in the autonomy of the judiciary. It is left for the people. It is not for me alone to fight. It is for the people to decide between a man who is pro-democracy and those who are reactionary against democracy.
Thank you. Derek Zedome.
Thank you very much. I'll start like this. You know, there's a saying that when an adult takes the property of a kid and holds it up high, there's so much he can keep his hand up there. At some point, his hand will be tired, and he will bring that property down, and the kid will have his stuff back. Yeah, those state people are tired. I've traveled from Igwebazua to Igwebe to Uromi to Auchi. I can see the pain and the tiredness. The time has come for us as Edo citizens to change the game. We've seen these guys for 25 years, almost 30 years, wasting our common patrimony, telling us stories and empty promises. It has yielded nothing. So I see myself as the bridge between the glorious past, the Ubemudia days, and the brilliant future that we see ahead. Now, how do we intend to win this election? The details I will keep away from this debate, but I do know that power goes to two poles, those with the people and those with the money. We see the money people throwing the money all around. We don't have the money. But that saying goes, when those two poles meet in the battle of politics, those with the people always win. As long as the people believe in a cause and they are convinced that the time for change has come. And if I do not think that the Edo people are wise and ready for change, I won't embark on this journey. So I'm convinced. Now, what do we intend to do? We intend to bring our message to the people, and it's simple. It's called the RAISE agenda. Rural revitalization, agriculture, industrialization, infrastructure, security, and excellence. The details we can talk about later, but we've broken down that message in a very simple way that people can understand. And we're using community organizing to take this message door to door in a quiet way, not by red billboards, not by bombastic statements, but real ways that people can understand our language. And I do believe, come that day, people will look at us and know who has prepared, who knows the how, and deliver. Because the big guys are not here today, but I want my people of Edo State to look at them, either in this debate or in the future, to understand clearly who knows the how. And that's what I bring to this race. Not who is saying what, who knows the how, who will tell us how to empower and increase our GDP. Thank you.
Thank you. Udo.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I want to agree with what my sister there said, that the media plays a big role, a very huge role in controlling the narratives. It is very important to stop this idea of promoting incumbent, promoting federal might and all of that. They are wrong narratives, and we continue to make the people feel that, see, you can't do anything about what's going to happen to you. It's totally wrong. You must understand that the solution, I will repeat it again, that the solution to Edo and Nigeria problem is not in those two guys that you continue to promote in whatever way. I say it again, the solution to Nigeria and Edo's problem is not in those two people you continue to promote. If you doubt me, 8 years from now, if you will see what will happen in Edo State and in Nigeria. Therefore, the media has a role to shift the narrative and make the people know the truth. A lot of black people are not so mentally and I would say mentally there to make decisions. So they always follow whatever the media says. So what the media says is law. So I would say, please, as much as possible, the media have to do much more than they are doing now. This question, I don't really like it, but of course I will address it. However, we must understand, Edo people, they are very dynamic people. In the history of Nigeria, before the Britons were able to, in fact, if not for the fact that the Britons defeated Nigeria, today would have had a sort of a monarchical democracy headed by the Oba of Benin. Then we have prime ministers. That was where Nigeria was heading to before the Britons came to cut it short. And Edo is the beginning of this country called Nigeria. We must also remember 1953. Enahoro was the one that introduced this independence we have today. 2022, the new Electoral Act was tested with the electronic transmission of results in Edo State. There have been history of Edo always changing the narrative. And in 2024, we'll change the narrative to bring somebody else in AAC as the next governor of Edo State. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say a big thank you to our very courteous listening audience. And while we say thank you to them, we're going to take a break, take a pause now.
People of Edo State, after 8 years for government, people sign board for everywhere, say their candidate, he go do one, do waiting. Now they break. I beg, make una see how our road everywhere for Edo State can be under PDP. This na Imade Street for Upper Mission Ikobaha local government. See Bini to Auchi road can be. See Ekpoma road to Auchi as it be. This na Uselu Lagos road for Benin City. See road for Honda local government. This road now for inside Ekpoma, my people. See Ekenwa road before barracks, Pat road everywhere. This now for Ewega community for Orion local government. Make una see bypass road for Sapele road for Benin City. This time Hama for GRO Benin City when Chikere rain fall. And many other roads, but everywhere for Edo State. People of Edo State, we don't see PDP part 1, their part 2 no go good to make we shine our eyes. We want change.
Vote Olumide Osaigov Akpata as governor of Edo State. Vote Labour Party.
Edo to Edisi Norena. Iare ni ado fiedu imawerie. Deriko sae. Orimana kio Edo. Iare ni ado fiedu imawerie. Wagiari oboyo ieke. Orimana kio Edo. Iare ni ado fiedu imawerie.
Engineer Derek Izedome Mwegbe no here fiedu with here. Vena very ma do evege no pay. Brigadier Samuel Ogbemudi Akele Professor Ambrose Ali Yawo Mayedo vege no gbera. Engineer Derek Gaye do yakye wepo. Awo gbubo ga meyobo. Ibi ma ya fe ga menwina. Upa keve amegaro. Wariazene Engineer Derek Izedome. Noga okari obogo tedo. Ne Philip Emonite Osage noga Hawaii.
Wagiari oboyo ieke. Orimana kio Edo. Iare ni ado fiedu imawerie.
Wariazene Engineer Derek Izedome. Wariazene ADC.
I am Osaya Derek Izedome, and I approve this message.
Thank you very much. Once again, we'd like to welcome you to the ITV and Radio Edo State Governorship debate. Let me use this opportunity again to appreciate all our partners, media partners, NTA Benin, Vibes FM, Edo Broadcasting Service, Speed FM, Silverbird TV, and Rhythm FM, Air Live, as well as Hizua Hub Event Center. Not forgetting B-Side FM. We'd like to appreciate our sponsors, Unilodge Realties, EZ Properties, Glorious Vision University, Shaka Polytechnic. We thank all of you for your passion and commitment. Not forgetting WAPMA, West Africa Broadcast Media Academy, our fact checkers for this program. Now, in 1 minute, I'd like to know your thoughts on human capital development, beginning with health. In Edo State, what is the number of health centers? What is the need assessment as it relates to doctors required in Edo State? And what is the doctor to patient ratio in Edo State? What is your model for the protection and sustainable development? We also like to know, what is the unemployment rate in Edo State? And how do you think foreign direct investment can help to actualize all of this? And I'd like to start with the YPP governorship candidate, Paul Okumbo.
time will start when you get the microphone. And it starts now.
Thank you for the question. Here's the truth. I am not a member of the NMA, neither am I a member of the medical board. What I can tell you is that I'm a victim of the poor health care that has greeted our state. 4 months ago, I personally rushed my mother to the hospital, UBTA, should be very precise. And it was just one doctor that was on call that night. The doctor happened to be someone I attended University of Benin with when he first did his first degree program in botany. And I kept begging him, and he kept trying to. But you see, it was not just adequate. So I can tell you, on the basis of personal shared experience, that the medical Japa syndrome has so hit us so hard that until you find yourself in need of medical saving, you may just be stunned to realize that we don't have personnel around. As for unemployment, it's evidently everywhere. If they were employed, they would not be singing Abba Father to the man who is depleting them of their resources.
Into the key quickly.
It's very key because population to be able to do what we need to do. And the ratio between doctors, nurses to patients is very, very low. What I noticed in our system, in general Nigeria, you know, we just, a lot of things on book, but physically, tangibly, people are not feeling it. So we need a healthcare system that is affordable, that is accessible, you know, that people can, you know, can work with. And we also need a scheme, you know, an insurance scheme where we have, you know, free healthcare for those who cannot afford it. I also talk about disability. Very, very important. They don't need to pay anything because they are disabled. So they are part of our system and need to be taken care of. Education, you know, I hinged on that earlier. You know, technology is key. You know, education when it comes to human capital development is a win-win situation for us. Unemployment, of course, if the system is what it's supposed to be, people will not be crying for hunger, and that's why we have insecurity.
Dr. Azame Azena, NNPP candidate.
Thank you very much. We ought to have over 192 primary care centers in all the wards. But today, some of them are not functioning, and we have below that. Today, we have about 200 medical doctors employed by the state. And if you look at the ratio where we have over 5 million people, you know that that is not a good ratio. And I'm just going to focus on health. General hospitals, we ought to have like 18 of them in all the administrative local government headquarters. But most of them are where goats give birth and where the red goats. So we are going to definitely look into that. So on the area of health care, I believe that we need to focus on it because health is wealth. I don't want to say much on that because most time what you say in your manifesto become another person's manifesto. Thank you.
Dr. Isaiah Osifo.
Well, as chairman of one local government, I started the employment of medical doctors to primary health care delivery in the local government. Generally, the state hospitals are about 30 across the state, and there is high shortage of doctors in all our health institutions. For one doctor for local government in 1999, and that's what we have in 2024, is appalling. The unemployment rate is about 20% in Edo State, and to create employment for the youth, not necessarily have to be by foreign direct investment. Inward capital revitalization in terms of industrializing our nations, our state. For instance, just a refinery alone in Edo State can create over 10,000 jobs. Agricultural development can create over 10,000 jobs. And if you decentralize the Ministry of Works into 18 local government areas, that will create almost 9,000 jobs. So we can create employment, not necessarily by direct foreign investment, but by revitalizing our microeconomic system. And that will create employment. But for now, the unemployment is over 20% in Edo State.
Derek.
Thank you. I want to go quickly. I mean, when a society is healthy, it is productive. So we are going to focus on making our society a very healthy society. But what do we need to do? Of course, we have a health crisis today, not just in Edo State, but in Nigeria. You have the Japa syndrome and all this happening. What we intend to do is, first of all, give glory to the current government. They've done well in terms of their primary healthcare initiative. We want to build on that quickly and make sure that there is geographical accessibility and financial accessibility to everyone that needs health care. But apart from that, we need to bring in technology today. We know that there's telemedicine, which brings the doctor to the patient, even if the patient is in a remote place. They can be in America or anywhere in the world, and they can provide that service here in Edo State. So that's one thing we want to do. But the second thing we also want to do is preventive medicine. So why do people fall sick? Is it malaria? Is it dysentery? Is it cholera? We want to train people using community healthcare support workers to bring that training to individuals in the villages and the cities to understand how to prevent illnesses before they come. Simple things as personal hygiene can save a lot of money.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Oberai for Udo.
All right. The record shows that about 28% of Edo people are unemployed. And to solve that problem coming from the angle of the medical sector, we intend to revamp or introduce what I will call, because today one of the reasons why our doctors are running away from the country is insecurity. We must solve the problem of insecurity. If we solve the problem of insecurity, you see most of our doctors will be staying back, those in Ottawa and the rest of them. Then again, we must also introduce what I will call state allowances so they can have a reasonable or good living wage. Then ethno-medicine. We have looked away from the herbal medical sector. Every world, we are supposed to have up to 10,000 people to one healthcare center in each ward. If we can introduce our herbal medicine sector, revamp it, Edo State, will forget, is part of or played a role in the revolution of the Orthodox medicine between 1913 to 1914, after the First World War, when the white men learned that our people were taking herbal drugs, and they were very strong, the soldiers they used then.
Thank you. Gentlemen and lady, we come to a very critical part of this debate. In the course of the presentations from each of you, I'm sure one thing or the other struck you that you probably may want to react to. In a nutshell, we're saying we're providing you the opportunity to ask yourselves questions. That will be done in 2 minutes. Question as short as possible, and then the person that you're asking a question will respond immediately. Okay, but before we go into that segment, we'll quickly take a short break. If you just join us, it's still the Edo State Governorship debate coming to you courtesy of independent television and radio and our media partners in Edo State, NTA Benin, Vibes FM, Speed FM, EBS, B-Side FM, Silverbird TV, and Rhythm FM. We thank all of you for making this a reality. We'll be back with you in a moment.
Amido. Oh my God, what a beauty. I think I will fly you around the world in your private jet, spray you with hard currencies. I know your lines. In every love season, this is what you say. You said the same thing to Isosa, Obehi, and Habibat. You've made a mess of their lives. I guess you know me. I said it. I knew it that I saw an angel sitting on that seat. You should be drinking this on a boat cruise with
chaperones in white, singing to your praises and your beauty. How about bros? Grow your game. It's that time of the year when you make promises you never keep. Like I said, I am Edo. This is the story they've been telling us. Whenever we listen to these two parties and their failed promises, they have nothing more to offer. The new guy on the block is my guy, your guy, Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata. When he makes promises, he keeps them.
Vote wisely. Vote Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata as governor for Edo State. Vote Labour Party.
Many thanks again for on this debate on the stables of independent television and radio and our media partners. We go straight to the climax of this debate, where each of the candidates would ask any candidate of his choice or her choice a question. Then we'll bring this debate to a close. So we're starting with the YPP candidate, Paul Okumboa. Can we give him a microphone? Can we give him a microphone?
Thank you very much. I honestly do not have any question for any person here, because the truth is this: those who refuse to sign the peace accord, I would have loved to ask them question. You see, for every single person seated here, They have demonstrated capacity. They will not to even sell their mandate. The very idea that they followed through to a debate shows gallantry. And I would have loved to beg that the movers and shakers of our political space, those who indeed need to sign peace pact, and those who are saying that they have federal might, or the other one who has the other might, is to make an appeal that whoever amongst you that emerge governor of Edo State, it mustn't be me, but whoever emerges, either by crook or by hook or by the collective will of the people, should please actually consider that people are suffering. I'm a tutorial operator. I love the job of meeting with young persons every day. I tell you, most of them come without food. Some of them, when they are paying the little stipend of tuition, you see poverty has eaten so deep in their heart. But I like to add by saying that worry the interest of those who borrow trouble. And the very fact that you are here today shows that you have not borrowed trouble. I don't think there's any person here today who has financially awashed the political atmosphere with money. I don't think there's any person here today who has sponsored talks, currently waiting in hotels to maim voters and to suppress voters. That for every person here who are on this podium today to give representation to their ideas and the ideals that they carry as a people, starting from me, I like to celebrate myself. That why they thought young people will soon sell out, they will soon come and collect their check. We are glad and happy to say that we are following through. Win or lose, our pride and honor remains that an ideal Edo child can be bettered without money. Thank you.
Let's go to the PRP candidate. Ask your question or your contribution.
My question is a very sincere one.
Who are you directing the question to?
Oh, I'm going to be asking, okay. I think about some of us are affected with what I want to say, but I will ask my brother and pastor, because I know I will get a very sincere, open-hearted answer from him. You see, for me, leadership is about feeling the pain points of the people. Leadership is about feeling the pulse of the people. Leadership is about hearing what the people want, not what I want to give to them. Yes, I have something that I want to give, but I also want to know what they want, because I might be giving the wrong solution to their challenges. When I started this race, I know people ask me, where are you from? And I'm wondering, if I'm not from Edo State, will I say I want to run? Then later, my chairman and the other people said, oh no, they're trying to know the part of Edo that you're from, because the majority, is saying we want Edo Central. I'm not a tribalistic person. I'm not a racist. I believe as a leader, it should be by merit, not whether you're from here or there or there. But because of the system that we have in Edo State and generally Nigeria, people just, do what they want to do. So hearing that, and I'm like, okay. And I also interact with people from both the south, the north, the central, and they say the same thing. Are you from Edo Central and all that? So when I start seeing my brothers, from different areas, and I'm asking, okay, if indeed this is what we want to do, and the people are saying this is what we want, it doesn't matter. Why are you doing things that the majority of Edo indigenes, do not, are not agitating for? So I want a sincere answer from my brother, and I know it affects, some of my brothers sitting here.
Exactly what's your question?
The question is, you are from Edo North, and the people, majority of the Edo indigenes are saying they want someone from Edo Central. Why did you decide to run?
Okay.
And do you think it helps the people? Are you meeting
them? Thank you. Let's Dr. Azeme Azena respond. Pass the mic to him.
I think when you talk about equity, fairness, and justice, you should give everyone a playground. It is not the zone that should decide. The people should decide. If the people feel, or they are feeling, or they felt that the person that should govern, they should be from Edo Central, let the will of the people be done. But you can't tell everybody to go home and rest, because it is your turn. But everyone should be given a playground, whether the south, whether the central, whether the north. Then allow the people's will to be done. Like Jesus said, not my will, your will be done. On this issue, not the will of Edo North, not the will of Edo Central, not the will of Edo South, but let the will of the Edolites be done. If it pleases them to take Okugboa from Edo South, let their will be done. If it passes to Pastor Azeme, let their will be done. All we are fighting for, we want to get a better Edo State. Anywhere the person comes from, doesn't matter. There are strangers that are more closer to this zone than those who are from those zones. To me, I am not biased. I am not such a person that anywhere I come from, whether Edo Central, so long we have a better Edo State. You will agree with me. Oshomole was not from Benin, but virtually most of the mega projects that are still in Benin today were done by him. There is somebody we come from Edo South and we work for Edo North than an Edo North person. That is my philosophy. Thank you very much.
Okay. So let's hear your question, and who are you directing it to?
No, I don't have a question. I will follow my senior brother.
Thank you.
Now, I only have a recommendation. I have recommendation. Firstly, I am looking for those who are watching and for those who are listening, anywhere, anyhow, any way, we can implement debates as part of our electoral law, so that next election is part of the requirement that you must speak to the people, or else this mega, in quote, according to the media, who don't surface for debate, it all started for a few years ago. It's becoming a norms. Or else a time will come, journalists, when you organize debate, you will not see anybody. Let us implement it as electoral law, part of your qualification. Before you can become a governor, before you can become a president, it is a must that you must appear before the media and talk to the people. Secondly, if I have opportunity, I would also recommend that whosoever we emerge, one of the ways to have a good governance and a good society, don't throw away others. Okugbowa may have followers that may not support me. You have your followers. You have your followers. You have your followers. I have my followers. When I emerge, if I carry Okugbowa as part of my government, definitely his policies will be part of my government, and his people shall be part of my government. Where do we have problem in Nigeria? It is when somebody emerge and he do away with others. So the ideology, the philosophy, the principles of others will be wasted, and the followers of all those ones will fight you. That is why the present federal government will never have peace, because the obedient movement are fighting them. So long Obi is not part of the government. Thank you very much.
Dr. Azayab.
Thank you. I will not want to ask questions because my concern about this election result, my concern about this election is about good leadership. And my appeal to the people of Edo State is that you don't get good leadership by talking, picking a microphone and begin to talk to people. You get good leadership from an antecedent. I studied in Nigeria and studied in the United Kingdom. The British politics is thriving because they are more interested in the antecedent of the candidate than the platform of the political party or the rhetorics of the candidate. I know people, please ask questions about the antecedent of the man or woman that's asking you to elect him or her as governor. Governor is not a team party, it's not the job for just anybody. It's the job for a competent community leader who has records of service and have demonstrated capacity for leadership. We don't have democracy in Edo State today because people do not even know that until you have democracy, you're not going to have development. The moral foundation of democracy must be sustained by participation in election. Don't wait for them to pay you to come out to vote. Democracy is not about the candidates. It's about you. Come out to vote for a good man or a good woman, because after Saturday, you have another 4 years. I detest colonialism. I detest violating the moral fabric of democracy. That the man does not live in the state, does not pay a tax in the state, does not vote in the state.
You have no stake in the state. Nothing in the state. And you want to come and be a governor. That's moral violation of democracy. Every people should reject it in entirety. And let the man who has records and antecedents. That is how developed countries are grown. When you want to be president, they ask about your past. When you want to be a governor of a state, they ask about even the mayor of a council, they ask about start past. Check the past of those who are asking for governor and choose the man with competence and that quality to be governor of the state.
Thank you. Derek.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions, but I'll use the opportunity to lend credence to the things I've spoken about before, just like my brother there did. Now, you know, we as a people need to be very circumspect this time, especially in this election. Turn by turn doesn't build a country. It has never done so. It's a trick. It's a scam, in fact, that some of the political class in those states are trying to use to hoodwink us to cover their tracks and bring their best friend into government, or their puppet, if you like, political minions. So turn by turn is something we must be very circumspect about. We need to ask every candidate, how are they going to fix the mess they've created? People that have been in government for 25 years or so have no business to stand in front of us and tell us they are the best candidate. That's a lie. We know that we have very good candidates. You've seen them on this stage today. The disrespect that some of those candidates have had for us is why they are not here today. And it's appalling. It's a disgrace that they want to rule us and they don't want to stand in front of the people to speak. So those people should take a deep look at the current situation. Carefully listen to them, either in this debate or elsewhere. How are they going to fix this state? Most of them will not tell you. They will come and tell you bombastic statements. So my appeal is that we should step back and look around this time and say, who is prepared for this job? I, for example, have prepared for this for 15 years. If I wasn't ready, I won't stand here. I know my stuff. I have a manifesto. Many don't have. People should look at manifestos. And if you don't have the time to look at the manifesto, ask the candidate how. All the time. Let's not just get empty rhetoric that they give us. The time for that has passed. And I want to say, we, the younger ones, it's the time for us to take charge. I beg of you, Edo State people, to listen to us and listen to our plans for Edo State. It's very detailed and we're ready to change the game. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oberai for Udo.
I will also lend credence to what my other candidates have also said. I'm a youth and I'm the youngest amongst the candidates. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people thought that the youths cannot do it. So I stand here before you to tell you that we are here to change the narrative. For the longest of time, my brothers, my friends, the jackpot that ran out of the country in search of greener pastures, opportunities in diaspora. But we want to create an Edo State, fix an Edo State where they will all come back, where they will come and live in their motherland, and they will add to the quota and the development of our states, where they will not be dehumanized wherever they are. So I want to speak to all the youths here, and the poor people at home listening to us. The time to change Edo State is now. And if there are other people, candidates, who have spoken lie to our people and told them things they know they are not going to do, or anybody that gets there and deceive our people, I always pray every day, it will not be well with them. If it is me, it may not be well with me as well. But I want to tell you, and I believe, I know that God will fix Edo State. Edo will be better. Don't you believe so? It's very possible. And the God who sees our hearts, knows our intentions, will help us to fix this state, this land that belongs to us. So we will not run away. I am not going nowhere, and I want my brothers over there to come back to Edo State. And as a matter of fact, before 2027, join a political party, pick up phones, contest. Let's chase these guys that call themselves the old guards or the big guys. Let's chase them out of power. Edo belongs to us. It's our responsibility to fix it. We have a responsibility to fix this state and this country and remain here. Create a prosperous and progressive state for generations to come. So I beg you all, I stand before you with genuine intentions. And God sees our hearts and knows if we are telling lies and we are deceiving the people. And may He repay us if we do so. God sees our hearts. Please, our people,
thank you.
Put our hands. Support us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Those parting words from you brings us to the end of the Edo State Governorship debate, courtesy of Independent Television and Radio. We want to thank all of you for honoring our invitation and being part of this historic event. We also want to appreciate our media partners, NTA Benin, Vibes FM, Edo Broadcasting Service, Speed FM, Silverbird Television and Rhythm FM, B-Side FM, Air Life Solution, Ehizwa Hub Event Center. We also want to appreciate our sponsors, Unilodge Realtors, EZ Properties, Glorious Vision University, Shaka Polytechnic. We thank West Africa Broadcast Media Academy, who provided the fact-checking services, Ogene Karo Ofogbo, and of course, Eyikimi Bawo. Thank you, gentlemen. And of course, Sherifat Momodu, our timekeeper. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to say big thanks to everyone watching at home. The time for us to make that decision is just next week, Saturday. Please come out and vote for the candidate of your choice. Don't be afraid. There will be adequate security cover to ensure that you are safe, you are well protected. On behalf of my colleague, Daisy,
Thank you to everyone.
thank you so much for staying with us. Do have a great evening, and bye for now. We'll rise to take the national anthem.
Ogbeleo! EZ Africa Estates and Properties don't come with another Ogbonge style where Oyinbo they call easy buy. This na buying of land effortlessly with as low as 100,000 naira to 300,000 naira initial deposit. You don't become landowner. Now to spread the balance within 3 to 12 months. We get Farm City Estate Phase 1, 50 by 100 for 1.2 million naira, 100 by 100 residential for 2 million naira, 100 by 100 commercial for 3 million naira. We still get Farm City Estate Phase 2, 50 by 100, 500,000 naira, 100 by 100 residential for 1 million naira, 100 by 100 commercial for 1.5 million naira. Farm City Estate, dey Ugbokun community, just 15 minutes drive from Olugu bypass. It dey close to Igbinedion University, Okada. All our estate lands start from the third road. We don't build the estate gate house and put central borehole. Security na Ogbonge. People they buy the plots fast. As you buy, we go get your deed of transfer and registered survey documents with a token. The first 50 people wey buy for Farm City Phase 2 go get heavy bonanza. Inquiry 0810 404 4439. With EZ, everything easy.
What a beauty. I think I will fly you around the world in
your private jet, spray you with hard currencies. I know your lines. In every love season, this is what you say. You said the same thing to Isosa, Obehi, and Habibat. You've made a mess of their lives.
I guess you know me.
I said it. I knew it that I saw an angel sitting on that seat. You should be drinking this on a boat cruise with
Chaparras in white, singing to your praises and your beauty. How about bros? Grow your game. It's that time of the year when you make promises you never keep. Like I said, I am Edo. This is the story they've been telling us. Whenever we listen to these two parties and their failed promises, they have nothing more to offer. The new guy on the block is my guy, your guy, Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata. When he makes promises, he keeps them.
Vote wisely. Vote Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata as governor for Edo State. Vote Labour Party.
Of Edo State.